Experts have known the lingo of their fields, so surely using jargon is a sign of expertise, or isn't it? Well, a journal article by Brown, Inichich, and Galinsky in 2020 reviewing 9 studies showed actually that using jargon is a sign of insecurity. And this was a trend that could be seen across the board. So when they compared high status groups to lower status groups, they saw that the groups with lower status use more jargon, whether that is in conference titles, in dissertation titles, in live conversation, or even in pitches. So when they researched, for example, the titles of 64,000 dissertations, they saw that participants from lower status schools tended to include more jargon than those of higher status schools. And it also applies to using acronyms. So that is an abbreviation of the initial letters of a word in professional profiles. So think of L&D instead of just saying learning and development. When people lack status, they're actually more concerned with the way the audience evaluates them than communicating clearly. So that's why they introduce really knowledgeable, technical, and very noteworthy language in order to be evaluated positively by the audience and come across as knowledgeable. People with high status, however, are more concerned with communicating clearly with their audience. That being said, let's just go WALS. I'm just joking. Here are 4 suggestions to help you communicating clearly without the use of jargon. So first of you, the W, why? Why are you doing certain things? And this is particularly important to include, and if you're doubling down on useful details, make sure people understand the bigger picture and the why first. A, avoid abbreviations. So write things in full so it's much easier for the audience to just read through. L, leave lingo at home. So don't use unnecessarily technical language. And in case you have to use something, because it's absolutely critical, make sure you describe what you mean. So also a general audience or an external can understand what you're talking about. And what works really well if it's super technical is to use analogies. So that could be like writing without jargon is like riding a bike. So it takes some considerate, deliberate practice at first, but once you get going and you've learned how to ride a bike, it goes automatically and you've got a skill for life. And then the S, shorten sentences. So I remember when I came from the academic track that I used to write very long sentences, which were super difficult for people to get. And sometimes the grammatical structures were also quite complicated. By just paying attention to short sentences, I completely avoid all these difficult grammatical constructions, and I see that people are more easy to grasp what I'm actually saying. The same goes for using the active tense instead of a passive tense. So that is when you say the people went to get some sandwiches, for example, instead of the sandwiches were bought by the people, which is much more difficult to process. The experiment. So this week, when you're trying to explain something to a general audience, so think of an expert giving a TED talk to a general audience, do the 10-year-old test. Would a 10-year-old understand why you're doing something? And would they feel comfortable with the language you're using? Good luck experimenting.